England play France tomorrow in the quarter-final of the World Cup, and of course, France are the current holders of the World Cup. And quite frankly, they have been one of the best teams going. With them and Brazil have been the two teams that have been outstanding in this World Cup. You could maybe say England have been as well, but in this video, I'll be saying how to stop France. And I'll be giving my prediction at the end of it. But if you haven't already, please can you go and subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate all the subscriptions I get. I always say that sort of thing. But you don't have to subscribe. You can if you want to. I'm just saying it's right there below you. It takes 2 seconds to do. But I'll be discussing the way that England could play against France, the way they have been playing, the way that France has been playing as well. So first and foremost, this really feels like Southgate's real final chance, isn't it? As a tactical coach rather than a man manager, because we know that Gareth Southgate is a great man manager. He's galvanized this England team into a team that was a bunch of they were lost, weren't they? And they didn't know where they were going. They just lost 2016 Euros in the round of 16 against Iceland. And since 2018, it has been a turnaround. And whether players deserve to be in the team or not, he has managed them perfectly. There's not been a player which we've lost or not had in a Euros or a World Cup, which we thought maybe we could have done with, the likes of Jack Grealish in the last one, the likes of James Maddison. I know he's not played, but he's arrived to the World Cup, hasn't he? And I don't know whether he'll get a minute or not, but that's by the by. This is really the barometer of how we see Gareth Southgate. And if he loses this game, this really does add to the argument of the people who do want him out and believe that he isn't a good tactical coach, because ultimately, and I like saying that word, when it does get to the point where Gareth Southgate does get judged on the massive games, he has failed at it. Look at Italy, look at Croatia in the semi-final. They get 1-0 up and he doesn't know what to do. He gets lost. So in this video, I'll be speaking about how England have been playing in this World Cup, because obviously we have scored 12 goals to France's 9. Let's not forget that. They are the top scorers in the World Cup so far. And they've not lost any games compared to France's loss against Tunisia. And we discuss about how consistent the team has been, because obviously France did lose against Tunisia. And you can twist it either way, can't you? France obviously lost against Tunisia, and you really do need that consistency in a team, because there isn't that many games in the World Cup. I know that's an amazing point, isn't it? But you do need a consistency in your team, and it is a slow burn, the teams that tend to win the World Cup. They don't go out gun blazing in the first game. Look at how Spain performed in the last game. Winning 7-0 was a precursor to how other teams should not play against Spain, and they got found out against Morocco ultimately. France have scored 9 goals. They usually play a 4-2-3-1, and we know the strengths of France. We know that Theo Hernandez and Mbappe, the threat down there. And should we double up on them? Should we not? So in the last game against Senegal, we played a 4 at the back with Luke Shaw and Kyle Walker at the full-backs, with the midfield 3 of Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, and Jordan Henderson, which worked perfectly in that game, because I think England's biggest attribute and biggest strength is their energy in midfield. I think that's something that we were lacking in the World Cup last time and the Euros this last time gone, with just Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. We were losing that battle in that midfield. Look at the game against Italy. We scored early on, and then we lost in the midfield, and then ultimately lost in the last few minutes. Well, on penalties, weren't we? But we should have definitely have won that game, because it was in our hands, wasn't it? The only thing I could say about having a back 4 compared to a back 3 is that if you look at the France team here, this is the sort of potential other formation that you could have for the England team. But we'll discuss France right now, because obviously you got Kylian Mbappe and Theo Hernandez on that left-hand side. And we know that that is their biggest strength, the attacking mid-rolls, the dynamic, fluid attacking midfielders with Dembele, Griezmann, and Mbappe just behind the clinical finisher of Giroud. It goes without saying that that is their biggest strength. And I think France's biggest strength is that, but they also have the biggest weakness in the back line, because they have conceded in every game. And the likes of Raphael Varane, Upamecano, I can never say his name, Diot, do apologise. They have struggled in this, as well as Koundé at right back. As a centre back playing at right back, he has struggled, especially with that necklace on. And like I said, they have conceded every game, including against Australia, including against Tunisia, teams that aren't really strong. You know, they're not. They shouldn't be scoring against France. And England have only conceded 2 goals in this whole tournament so far, and that was against Iran. And one of them, well, it was when we were 3-0 up, and the other one wasn't a penalty. So ultimately, we've really only conceded 1 goal. The fact that we could play this back three, obviously, it eases off France's main threat. Like I said, the you double up on the full backs with Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire on one side, who have a sort of what you could say an ultimate team green link, maybe. It's a poor sort of choice of words, but they have a good chemistry, as well as the fact that Kyle Walker and Kieran Trippier, one's got the nous of the passing ability, and one has the strength in his speed, which could counteract Mbappe's threat. And I could be saying all these, and then Mbappe goes on a Maradona-esque run, and this whole analysis could be wrong. But if you look at the midfield 2 there compared to the 3 with Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice, I really believe that this midfield 3 will and should be the way forward. The likes of Henderson making Jude Bellingham's defensive output stronger. His high press. Like I said, England's energy in that midfield 3 is our biggest counter and our biggest strength, isn't it? I think if we'd lose that 3, then we ultimately lose our biggest strength. And the amount of times that Jude Bellingham got the ball from Koulibaly was immense. I think that he's the full package, isn't he? And we need to release that. And the fact that we've got Henderson doing the dirty work, Rice doing the work as well, letting Bellingham free, essentially. And it's insane to say that as a 19-year-old. But I believe that you could look at it the other way around. If we play this formation as a more of a counter-attacking output, we do lose a man in midfield, but we do show that maybe on the counter-attack, let France have the ball. We do perform well like that. If we just have a low block, it could also work. But I do honestly believe that the back 4 should be the way forward. And our high press versus France. And France, I think, will allow us to have the ball. I think that they know that we're probably better off the ball more than we're on it. And France the year haven't had a high press. They've just had high anticipation in terms of when it gets to the midfield, when it gets to the defence, that's when they click and get the ball and get it to the other side. They almost do a counter-attack themselves with Olivier Giroud, the one to soak up the pressure, and then allowing Mbappe, allowing Dembele, allowing Griezmann just to get on the ball. And I think that it's going to be a close game, isn't it? And I did say in the other video on this channel that France would win this game. I've tried to give my not excuses, my reasoning on how to stop France. And I think that with the 3 midfield, to stop the 2 from them, with Rabiot and Tchouaméni, I think if we win that midfield battle, then we win the game. However, the likes of Sterling is a bit of an unknown. We don't know about Gareth Southgate's tactical nows because, like I said before, he's not really shown his tactical side of the game. He's only shown his man management side that can only get you so far. It's whether I think with my head and my heart. I think in terms of a prediction, is it coming home? Is it really going to come home? I don't know. I really hope so. I really do believe so in my heart. But in my head, I believe that France will win this game. And England, if they're going to win it, they have to be perfect. But I'm going to go with a 1-0 France win after all this. If we win that midfield battle, though, we will win the game. Gareth Southgate, if you're probably not watching, you're probably not listening. You probably got to this stage, and I've probably been wittering on for 5-10 minutes about absolutely nothing. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Let me see what do you want this back 4, or do you want the back 3 with the two wing backs? Let me know what you guys think of this video. It's a bit of a different one. I'm doing a bit of a analysis before the game, which is usually I react to it. It's a bit easier, isn't it? But I'd like to test myself a bit more on this sort of knowledge, because I believe that I do have it, and it's just I don't know how to say it into words. Essentially, I've been writing this down for a little while. So if you haven't already, please can you go and subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate all of them. Like I say, comment below what you think on the video. Again, if I don't get 3 of the 4, I will do whatever the highest liked is on the last video. At the minute, I think it's raw eggs, which I'm not entirely pleased about, but hopefully we'll get 3 or 4. And yeah, comment below what your predictions on the game will be. Like the video, and I will see you all soon. Cheers, guys. Peace.